Hi Cancer, it's Rebecca from Being Human Tarot, and I'm here with your October 2018 reading. This month I'm reading with a new deck, the Anima Mundi, that I got for my birthday, so in September, so I'm very excited. Some of these cards are coming up for the first time because I've just started reading with it. And the illustrations are great. It's mostly animals and kind of like other elements of the natural world, so I hope that you enjoy it. As I've done in previous months, I'm doing a 3-card reading with the first card indicating what you should focus on this month, the second card indicating what you should set aside for the month, and then the third card indicating just an additional consideration for the month. So, for your first card in the position of what you should focus on this month, you drew the Tower. So this month you're really going to need to kind of like let go of whatever baggage and sort of untenable situation you've had with you. Maybe you've been carrying it around for a while. Maybe it's something that's newer and it just didn't work out and it's kind of like now exploding terrifically in a way you didn't expect. But you kind of need to, I really hate saying lean in because I feel like it's so extremely overused that it's starting to even lose meaning. But you kind of need to accept and, to the extent that you can, embrace like that things are falling apart, if you will. And maybe, you know, this isn't as chaotic as it is for other cancers, because there's a lot of cancers out there. They're not all going to be going through the exact same thing. So maybe it's more of something that's minor, or maybe it's a big thing. Maybe you lost a job, maybe a relationship is coming undone, but like whatever kind of disturbance it is in your life, it's what you need to move on to the next thing. You have to sort of cleanse through the Tower and to be able to move on. So as difficult as it may seem, again, maybe it's not that difficult. Maybe I seem a bit hyperbolic talking about it this way, because you'll only know for yourself like what this is for you in your life. It's just it's time for it to happen, and so try not to worry and to be fearful. I know that's much easier said than done, but you have some good things on your side, and I'll talk about those in just a second, because in your card of what to set aside, you drew the 3 of Swords. Which it's sort of the card of, I mean, like, it's heartbreak in the Rider-Waite, you know, it's like an actual, like, literal, like, heart shape here with the 3 swords piercing it. So it's definitely not the easiest card to see when it comes up, but it's in your position of what to set aside. And so what the cards are really telling you here is that whatever you're going through with the Tower does not warrant heartbreak. And so, as kind of like politely as the cards can, they're being that real honest friend that like a lot of us have, who will tell us the hard truth of something. Like, not only do we need that Tower situation to come through our lives right now, but we also need to kind of not martyr ourselves in the process and not feel sort of overreactive in response to it, because it's something that wasn't good for us. And so while we can exist in this place often for things that weren't good for us, the cards are actually going a step further and sort of telling us that not only is it sort of like not logical, which whatever, feelings aren't logical frequently, but we're wasting our time if we're existing here with it. So I know that can be kind of like a weird message in this placement, because I tend to kind of be someone who's like, feel your feelings, like you need to work through those. When sad things happen, you need to like let yourself feel that. So if you're feeling heartbroken from this tower, that's understandable. But there seems to be real risk in this situation of wasting your own time living here, and you don't want to live here. So, and it's easy, Cancer, right? Like you're a very emotional sign. You feel all the feels, and so this is probably harder for you than for other signs to set aside, because it's a natural reaction to exist and recognize your feelings as being very real, which they are. So that might be a little bit of a challenge. However, in your additional consideration card, you pulled the Page of Cups, which is this cute little otter. And it's sort of like a little like reminder that despite these things that you're going through this month, you're going to come out okay. And you're not only going to come out okay, but you're also going to come out sort of not jaded by the experience, you know, because the pages have that young energy, that sort of hopeful, at times naive, but very necessary sometimes for doing things that require a lot of bravery, because sometimes it's just like we don't know better because we haven't experienced that thing yet. Which is good. Like, we need to push ourselves more once we become older and we have experienced a lot of things, and it just becomes like too scary to try to put ourselves out there. So it's kind of like, you know, yes, there's some hard stuff going on. Yes, you're going to feel pretty low, I'm guessing, you know, if you need to be told to set this aside. But ultimately, you're going to like kind of find yourself again in this potentially even lighter place than you were before, lighter and happier place than you were before all of this. And to kind of try as much as possible to keep a youthful, optimistic view of what your future could be like. I know that can be very challenging depending on what we're going through, but this wouldn't show up unless, you know, there was like a pretty positive outcome after, you know, all of the fallout is over. So that's your reading for this month. I know part of it was kind of heavy, but I hope that you found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, and then you hit the bell icon next to subscribe, you'll get automatically notified as soon as I upload the suite of videos for each month, which I do before the 1st of every month. So you can get a little bit of time to simmer with them. And that is it. I'm going to pause this and pan down so that you can see the 3 cards next to each other, because I think that's helpful visually for reading rather than me just individually holding them up over and over again. And also the cards are beautiful, so it gives you another chance to look at them. All right, bye Cancer. So as you can see, you've got your Tower as your focus, the 3 of Swords as your set aside, and the Page of Cups as your additional consideration. Thanks for tuning in.